What's up, mother Fs? Yeah, it's been a long time, you sassy fucks, and I am back again. I haven't done the Harloff Podcast in a little bit. I think the last one I did was with Dagnino, aka Finstock, and that's enough to make anyone just go to Vegas and stay there for the rest of their lives. But I decided that I don't, and I've never interviewed a redhead on my show. Well, that's not true. I think Clark Wolf was kind of a redhead when I interviewed her, so never mind. This interview's over, and I hope you guys had a great day. No, I'm kidding. I am here with someone who's just kind of taken over the scene so far. It's like, who is that sassy little minx running around, and who is she? And she's got an attitude, and then she kicked Emma Fife out of the Schmodown, and now here we are. She is the one and only Grace Hancock. Hello, Grace.
Well, hello, Kristian.
Move over so they can hear you, because everyone's going to think I'm talking to myself, and everyone thinks I'm crazy already. So, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Are you a little nervous right now?
I'm a little nervous. You didn't prep me well for this. You're like, it's going to get really personal, just like really personal.
No one said that. No one said that. That's a bold-faced lie. What I had said to you was that, can I ask you anything? And you said, yeah, sure, fuck it. Let's go with it. Did you say that?
I did say that. I did also say, though, that I will plead the fifth if I feel that I
and that's fine. So let me ask you. So why are you lying to the audience right away by telling fibs?
What am I fibbing about?
The fact that I asked you to do this, that is not true. That is a false claim. And I want to know more about Grace because I was listening to Beardo's show, and I like Beardo's show, but it turned into Inside the Actor's Studio.
Right?
And I like the fact that I know that you're an actress, but I learn that from you every day. I want to know more about who the hell and what makes you tick. Question number one, are you a jealous person? How about that?
No.
No? Why'd you hesitate?
Well, because I was trying to think of what I would be jealous about.
Well, I mean, I don't mean necessarily, because you don't seem like someone who's like envious of other people, but like...
No, I feel like when people have stuff that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really, really cool. I feel like I have a good attitude about it because I'm like, if it can happen to them, it can happen to me.
That's a good thing that you say that because it's funny. I've talked to people about this, and I would be lying if at some point in my life I wasn't. Well, if that person has it, how come I can't have it? Where I think that if you approach life that way, that's when bitterness starts to come more. As opposed to doing exactly what you just said. It's like, oh, okay, well, how did that person make that happen, and how can I make that happen?
Sure.
But I meant as far as, with relationships and things of that nature, because I found when I was, there's certain parts of my life where I was, and then there was certain, like with my wife, I'm not, and I think that's because it's like an overall trust. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious where you go in that range.
Like, am I jealous in relationships?
Yeah.
No, because if I'm dating somebody exclusively, like this is my boyfriend or something, if it's like a real relationship, I wouldn't have let it go that far if I didn't have like that trust that you were talking about. So no, not at all. I also don't feel like, I would never feel like threatened by somebody else. You know what I mean?
Right. Never. No, I mean,
not in a relationship, I guess.
But that's interesting and again, as an actress, there's always that competitive thing in general. So, I mean, because I've dated actresses to where it's just like, do you think she's prettier than me? Do you think she's better at looking at me? Do you think she's...
Oh, that's a bummer.
But you don't seem like an insecure person.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So where does that come from? Does that come from your parents?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I was just raised really well, but I think also I'm kind of an old soul. I'm kind of ahead of the game in that region, and I don't have enough energy to spend on stuff that doesn't lift me up to be a little meta. Like, I really don't have the energy to be like, she prettier than me? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm too busy doing my own thing to think about it.
Is that how you bounce back from stuff too? Because have you because you've been through some shit in your life.
For sure.
Like, are there things that, and I think Beardo asked you this too, like, and not a matter of being in Hollywood, not getting the audition, because a lot of actors go through that. They'll go through the audition, doesn't work out, I'm gonna go home. Or I'm talking about, is there personal things that have happened to you to where you were just like, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm gonna leave because of that, or I'm gonna do that, or maybe want to change your entire life because of personal things that have happened in your life?
What, like leave LA or like leave acting, or
maybe
just off myself altogether?
No, not off yourself, but I mean just something along the lines of just like, I think that like when I was in 2004, I was with a girl for a bit that I wasn't pulling the trigger on. I wasn't gonna get married because ultimately it wasn't the girl I was supposed to marry. But we broke up. She wound up cheating on me, and I'm like, fuck this. And I went through now I'm just gonna go and have my fun.
Yeah.
Have you gone through a scenario similar to that? Have you been in places to where it's like, do dudes run your life when it comes to relationships? Like, do they overpower it? Can it oversee like your focus on your career, or is it always career first? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it is always career first, which can be an issue for some, which I understand.
Yeah.
But if that's an issue for you, then you're not the dude for me.
Right.
There was a lot of questions in there.
Yeah. Gives you enough.
Yeah,
to
no, I mean,
monologue.
I've definitely had super. I've had a recurring weakness for relationships. I've had really, really poor judgment repeatedly for many years. So there's definitely been sections of time when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be single for a while.
Yeah.
And I've definitely done that. I've definitely been in relationships for a lot of my adult life, but I've been single for a pretty big chunk. So I think it's good to have a balance of both. There's definitely been times when I'm like, I'm going to take a long break from this for sure. But it's nice also, taking that time for yourself and then coming back. Because, like, right now, I feel like I'm very, like, right now I'm casually dating. I'm so, like, grounded in who I am. Like, I'm all, like, whole, you know what I mean? So if somebody else is, like, a whole person and wants to, like, chill with me and have fun, like, I'm down for that. But I'm not looking for, like, a serious relationship or anything like that.
See, now I'm like, I want to go down two roads.
Okay.
Like, road number one, and I'm going to come back to road two, but road number one is the bad choice in dudes.
Right.
What are you normally attracted to that you get that is the bad choice?
I think that I'm such an intense person. For better, for worse, like, I'm really, really passionate. I'm not a lukewarm person. Like, if I love lemonade, I adore lemonade. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what it is, if I like it, I love it.
Right.
Because I'm not going to give something the time of day that I'm not uber passionate about. So, like, my pendulum swings really, really wide. So I think that kind of translates as an intensity that I look for in other people, because I'm kind of, this sounds kind of negative, but, like, a lot of the people that I come across, like, I'm hard to impress. I'm hard, not in a way that, like, I'm not impressed by you, but I'm just like,
I know, I tell jokes and it's just like, she looks at me and she stares at me. I'm like, I'm going to just leave and quit.
Yeah, well, you're obviously very unimpressive.
Thank you.
It's just a lot of people don't kind of like, like when you meet somebody who's super fun, like, whether it's platonic or romantic, like, not that many people.
Your ass.
Like, yeah, no matter who you are, if you're my friend or you're my boyfriend or whoever, like, I love people who are just, like, super colorful, I guess. So that's kind of bitten me in the ass because...
Is it a little explosive sometimes?
Yeah.
Is that...
It can for sure. I've been with a lot of people with anger management issues, like, for instance, like, stuff like that. So it kind of... But
anger, not physical stuff.
There's definitely been, like, some unfortunate incidents. Yeah, for sure.
How do you deal with that? Like, because that's something that and it terrifies me because I have a daughter.
Yeah.
And, like, it always... Because, first of all, she does karate. And
so excellent.
I want her to
You're
be able...
You're a great dad so far.
I want her to be able to kick people in the head during her older years. But I think about that stuff now. And especially if anyone ever put their hands on my daughter, or anything, like, was it something that was more of a ongoing thing or like a one-time thing? Like, how did you kind of get past that?
Well, it started... I had some really bad... I dated a not super nice guy in college.
Okay.
And
for a while?
For a while.
Okay.
But it didn't start out like that. He kind of, like, eased me into, like, his crazy. And then at that point, I was so kind of, balls deep in the situation. We've been together for, like, a few years even. That it was hard for me to see it objectively. And it was so, like, incrementally getting worse that it wasn't so much like, this is a bad situation. Because it was like my head was really messed. Worse
physically or, like, yelling and stuff?
All of the above.
Really?
Yeah. So then I got rid of that guy, and then ironically, it's so funny because it is, you kind of are that cliche. And then I dated another guy who was also, like, not super nice.
But how do you get the strength? Because I want to know, like, how do you get? Because that's something I see also. Like, how do you get the strength to say? Because you said it before, where you're like you're with it and you just kind of making excuses for it. But at what point and how do you know you're like, well, fuck this, I'm out?
There's been times when I've been in, like, the ER. So that's a good, like, let's take a quick review of, like, what's going on in your life, guys.
I want to go break this guy's head now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But it's like, so I didn't know. How would I know that? You're just going to walk around and talk about that. But but first of all, thank you for having the strength to get the hell out of there.
Thank you.
But and I think that this is something that more people need to hear about, because I think that more people need to listen to exactly what you just said and not say, oh, this is normal.
Right.
I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And how long were you in that relationship for?
Well, unfortunately, you know, third time was a charm for me, but there was like 3 not nice guys that I was with, and the longest one that I was with was I think like 2 years.
Man, and then but you come from a pretty good family, right?
A great family, and they were a huge part of pulling me out of that, because a lot of it is also like there's a lot of shame involved, so you don't want to tell people what's going on because it is so cliche. It's like, well, what are you doing? Like, get out, but it's like that's not how it is. You know
they're gonna say that, so you don't want to deal with it, so you just
and then you make excuses, and then of course they're like feeding you excuses, and then you're hearing things, and you have all these people, and you don't really. It's tough. It's a really hard emotional road to maneuver.
But you do it, you get the strength, you get the hell out of there, and you keep running into these bozos, though.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, so what is it about the, like, can you be attracted to the nice guy? Like, the
absolutely.
good dude?
I mean, I've dated guys who are super vanilla. Okay. Like, super vanilla. From comparatively to those guys. He in his own way, in their own way, or whoever they were. You know, something about them, like, lit me up, because I don't, you know, I'm obviously not going to date, like, a wet rag. But yeah, no, I for sure can be with a nice guy. And I think also, I really hate saying this, but like the third time really was the charm for me. I think there was something like in that realm of like learning a lesson that I really, it had to be really, really driven home for me to be like, this is a legitimate recurring issue for me. Like, this is like a heroin addict. Like, I was literally like an addict who kept going like a moth back to the flame. And I think that having gone through it a third time really knocked me on my ass, and I was able to look at it as an adult, as a mature adult who like pays rent and has a job and is living life, and I was like, hold on, that's it, that's the fucking end of this.
All right, we'll get out of the dark road for a second. We'll get on the light road here. Good. And because you said the other thing is that you're just kind of casually having fun right now,
right?
So what? And it always comes, and I said this to Makuga, I said this to myself, is that when you say to yourself, I'm not looking for a relationship, I'm not looking for anything except just having fun and focus on my career, that's when someone pops in there. Because because you're dating and then you wind up finding that person. But right now it's all about just, you tell people straight up front, this is what I'm kind of looking for.
I mean, I think if it's gotten to the point where we're talking or whatever you want to call it, you already know. Yeah. Like, if you've known me for 15 minutes, you know that, like, my head's on straight, my shit's together, and I'm going for it. Like, I didn't come here to be, like, patient zero. I'm here to be the doctor and to, like, own the whole thing. Right.
So you got to respect that. And do you find that a lot of dudes respect that now?
I mean, I think that everybody at first respects it. But then they're like, ooh, that's really hot. She's ambitious and, like, smart and But then when I start to, like, put my career ahead of them, then they're kind of like butthurt. Yeah, I think it's intimidating for sure. I think they do. I think they're like, but you don't have time for me. And I'm like, no, I don't. I really, really don't. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, but do you think that will change eventually, or until you're satisfied with what you're doing career-wise, then you can focus on something else?
You know, I wouldn't even say that I'm not necessarily unhappy with what I'm doing career-wise now. Like, I'm very content. Not that I'm not working towards it.
But there's always more.
Right. No, I mean, I think, you know, it goes, somebody would have to, I mean, I'm talking like somebody would have to absolutely knock me on my ass for me to give them more than like 15% of my attention.
And what do you think that is? Like, what is it? Because
I'll know when I see it.
Yeah, but there's always like you're thinking inside of like your head, like what's the romanticized version of it? Like, what is like the perfect? That's the dude. Holy shit, that is the type of guy that I could say, you know what? Not only am I going to focus on my career, I'm going to focus on fucking Sven over here.
Sven. Oh my God, Sven, where are you?
That was the name, right? It was Sven. See,
I've always known I was gonna marry somebody named Sven.
That shit, motherfucker.
I mean, you want me to like nail, like write the qualities of Sven?
Maybe so. I mean, I'm curious because I heard you say that on Beardo's thing. You're like, this one guy, because I appreciated the fact that you said, I'm not just going to say, nope, never going to happen. Like, if dude walks in, comes in and says,
yeah, no, I'm not like regimented and like, I'm going to be single right now. I'm totally open to whatever.
But right now, Sven's not out there. Yeah. Is there?
I don't know.
Is there a Sven that has showed up that we don't know about?
I mean, I'm talking to a few potential Svens.
Okay, nice.
Perhaps.
Well, Sven, I hope to meet you, and we'll talk soon. What's it like working at this kooky office?
You know, I gotta say, it is a blast.
Yeah?
It's a really... I'm very grateful that my world fell together in a very strange way and I ended up here, because this is a really good time. Yesterday, we were shooting the clown sketch.
Oh, so good.
With Ken and Riley. Like, I mean, you and me, like, I'm literally crying, laughing, and it's like, that's a fun... Like, I've had jobs where I was fucking miserable. Yeah, like... And this is technically like my day job, but it's so great for me that I get to do a lot of stuff on camera, and even more so now, which is really exciting and very fun for me. It's a good time. Like, this is a great group. Like, I don't know a lot of people that can like tell their boss to like fuck off and tell them like a that's what she said joke, and we all just like high five
until HR comes in and shuts the whole place
yeah,
down.
and then we all just get fired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good time. I really, really enjoy it a lot.
Okay, so what's a because I think you told the story in behind the scenes also, or you're about to, and I just ruined it for everybody. But
yeah, God,
getting the gig here, that was just through, you saw like a posting or something?
No, John and I had been working at a talent agency for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And then this beautiful moment in my life happened where I booked 2 pilots in a film literally in the same week.
Oh, wow.
So I was going to be gone for a long time. So then that job had to go because I wasn't going to be able to take that much like vacation, I guess.
I think I remember hearing something like
that.
that.
Yeah. So then I was working on the show because I shot it I was working on it for like a year. Plus I had the other pilot, which also got picked up. Plus I had the film. So I was working as like an actor for like a year, which is great. And then there was a year after that when I was like living off all that money that I made, but I wasn't like really doing anything else, and I didn't book anything right away. And it was kind of a slow time for me. So I was like losing my mind because I'm very like, I mean, obviously I'm a little like go. I love to have all my hands in all the jars doing everything.
Gotta be out by noon.
Yeah. Fuck you. And so John and I had mutual friends, and he was like, oh, like, well, John, you know, now I'm the programming coordinator, but when I got hired, I was his assistant. And so a mutual friend sent in my resume to John, and then he called me in for an interview, and then he called me in for another interview, and I think he called me in for a third interview, actually, now that I think about it. But I got really competitive because I met you and Mark the first time I interviewed.
Oh, really?
And we were like chatting at the conference table, and you guys were like it was super inappropriate, like something that was like very not appropriate.
Sounds like us.
I was like, oh shit, I gotta work here.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll fit right in. So I just did John put me through the ringer. I mean, I was telling Pierre, I bribed him with cookies.
Okay, yeah, he did that. It was funny because when we went, for when I got brought on to AMC, and I remember, and I had already been doing schmoes for a little bit, and they knew who I was, but like we interviewed it, and I was talking with Schnepp, Amy Rose, and Dennis, and then like, all right, well now we want you to talk to John. I was like, okay, great, where is he? I had to go up the escalator, and I felt like I was going to Palpatine's office. So, but anyway, I totally get that going through like the process. But so you get here, you start when you do the Film HQ, obviously for a little bit, and then you start working in this cast of crazies. I'm going to go through a thing. I want to get Grace Hancock's opinion on each person that I go through as far as how you view them, because I think what an actress does, it's very actor. You break down characteristics. Traits.
I get a rundown real quick.
You do, and that's what you have to do, because there's certain things, because I guess characters that if there's someone like down the line that you're going to play that's similar to Wendy, I know someone like that. I can pull characteristic traits. So that's why I wanted to get your point of view on. I'm gonna run through a lot of people.
You're gonna get me in trouble.
Maybe so, but I want to hear. But I love to hear your take and how Grace Hancock sees these particular people. We'll start simple, and we'll go with Cody Hall.
Oh my God, I adore Cody. Cody is literally Peter Parker.
He probably does fight crime at night too.
He for sure. I'm
99%. Yeah. Although it's probably just him tying his shoe.
He's like, a bike messenger clipped me. We're like, lies.
Right.
Because he's so, oh my gosh, I love him and Adam. I would fucking watch them all day. Like,
it's like
it's like
Laurel Hardy.
They don't say anything for 20 years. They say 3 syllables, and I'm in stitches. Like, it's like these random little like things from the peanut gallery, and it's hilarious.
And Adam's like, okay,
yeah.
that's fine. Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, like, they're just so funny. But yeah, so nice, so endearing, really cool guys, super funny. I don't know why I automatically looped Adam in. They're gonna hate me for that. They're like, everybody does that.
Well, that's not true. They do. The two of them. I think that everybody has like their little cliques that and those just sit next to each other all the time.
They're always in there in the dark, silent. It's
so
a beautiful.
Weird,
it's like might be my dream relationship.
I love their relationship, but it is. It's like Alfred and Batman in there. It's like you go in there, it is pitch black.
It's perfect. I know, and it's just like silence, but you somehow feel that they're communicating, even though nobody's talking.
Oh, they absolutely can talk.
It's relationship goals.
Just like they signal, and like it's like a perfect. It's a perfect disaster.
Yeah, and they both love rats, so I'm like, we're in.
Not rats. Rat the dog.
I mean, they may also love rats. I don't know.
I love that little dog. I do. The way so if you're not familiar with Grace's dog, is the dog's name actually Rat though?
Her name is actually Adelaide.
How do you get... So you just said, fuck this, she looks like a rat. I'm going to go...
Essentially, yeah.
I mean,
I still call her Adelaide, but mostly if she's in trouble. Very similar to when my mom calls me Heather Grace. I'm like, oh shit, like...
So you changed, but do you think that she appreciates that you changed her name from Adelaide to Rat?
I mean, I think... Yeah.
Because it's like
an endear... Because I love rats.
I was just going to say, was it endear...
I actually love rats.
You love rats?
I think they're adorable.
You freaked out when we had mice in here that one time.
No, I only freaked out because it ran across my shoe, and I wasn't mentally prepared for that to happen. I think they're adorable. You
think rats are adorable or mice?
I think mice are adorable. Okay. I like rats.
Why do you like rats?
Because they look like rats. I love little rodent creatures, like ferrets or like possums. I think they're all adorable.
Mice I can get. I think rats are filthy, disgusting things.
I mean, I'm not saying they're not gross, but I think they're cute.
All right.
Come on, Templeton, Charlotte's Web, that little song he sings, it's beautiful.
Speaking of rats, no, I'm just kidding. We'll move, Tom Dagnino. I actually want to ask, because I've noticed that you have a very fun relationship with one Ken Knapsack.
Yeah.
And so give me a little breakdown of Ken. I've known Ken for years, so I want to see how Grace Hancock sees Ken Knapsack.
How I see Ken? Yeah. Oh my god. Well, I adore Ken. Ken is my work husband. Yes. I don't really know what that means.
I was going to say, what does that mean?
I don't know. He started calling me that one day.
People always say that the work...
I know.
He's a philanderer then if he says that, because he has a work wife with... He's got a work wife with Roger Stryer.
Well, was that Screen Junkies. I'm the Collider work wife.
Yeah, so he's basically Hugh Hefner in
essentially.
This way.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I adore Ken. Ken is hilarious. How I see him?
How do you see Ken?
He's hilarious. He's such a softie. He loves to pretend that he's like this single, depressed piece of shit, like self-deprecating thing. He's not that person at all. He's so much fun. He's so lighthearted, and he's such a softie. Like he's like an emotional guy.
He's emotional. He can get deep.
He can get so deep, and you're like, oh shit! Like,
well, he's very intelligent, and he's one of the best dudes I know. But he is definitely self-deprecating. There's no doubt about that.
And it's hilarious. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like he puts it on. It's not.
Let's flip and we'll see Campia. How do we see Campia?
Mr. Canada himself.
Mr. Canada.
He's...
I love watching you on the spot here. It's really fun.
I'm sure you do. As I wipe the sweat from my brow. I'm like, what do you mean?
Right.
I mean... Here's the thing. John fucking loves movies.
Yeah.
He's all about it. Like, the way that I am about acting in general, I feel like that's movies for John. And you know what? It's so fun to watch. Because you can tell that he's super passionate about this. Like, he's all about it. Like, he's here doing this all day. And then at night, he goes home and he's, like, studying trivia. And he's watching this shit. Like, he's all in it. And I adore that about him.
What about Jeremy Jones?
Oh, Lordy.
Did you know Jeremy? Wait, when was the first time you met Jeremy?
I met Jeremy because I had him on Film HQ a few times.
Okay, when he came
and that
to
was my first. Yeah, okay. When he was like flying in and out. I mean, Jeremy is an adorable, rabid little ferret of a man. Like he is.
Why would you say a little? He's tall.
I mean, I don't mean I mean little in the way that I mean like precious. Like he's just. I just want to grab his little cheeks and just
energy.
Give him like a little riddle every now and then. You know what I'm saying? No, I adore Jeremy Johns. He's a lot of fun to be around. You can't have a bad day around Jeremy Johns.
It's true. He does lighten up the office when he walks in.
It's nice to be around because I'm I'm a very deep thinker. Right. I'm very much an over intellectualizer. And then you hang out with Jeremy and you're like, hold up, everything's cool. He's very he lightens things a lot. It's funny you say that
because I could see you breaking down subject matters and things like that. But I also you're a goofball.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so you're not like all in
I mean, I'm very much I'm a very even split of right and left brain. Right. I'm a very odd individual.
How do you get along with Perry?
I adore Perry.
Yeah.
Perry and I bonded over healthy food.
Oh, where do you guys go? You go to that weird
Creation.
place. Why do you love that place so much?
Because it's just so good. I mean, you need to bring at least $200 cash with you to leave the door with any kind of snack that you paid for.
What do you get? A shake? What is it?
I mean, they have wraps and salads and but they have fresh juices.
Juice? No juice?
They have fresh juices. And they have acai bowls.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's she's obsessed with it. I'm bigger on the coffee
drink. I told you
what
Ken said to me, right?
What?
With the acai bowl, you can run it in here. And he goes, don't do it, man. He goes, don't do it. I was in the toilet for 6 days. Don't do it.
I mean, I don't... Maybe his digestive system wasn't ready for that.
Maybe he caught a bad one?
Maybe he got a bad one. Yeah. I actually prefer jungle acai bowls. But don't tell Perry that. But I adore Perry. Perry, again, is Perry's so driven. She's such a bad bitch. Is. She's the only female producer we have here other than Ashley, who's a pretty new addition. Right. And she just doesn't give a fuck. When she's running a meeting, she's no, I'm running a meeting. She gets work Perry.
Those meetings.
Don't you?
No, they're so good.
Should we set one right now?
No, let's
have one after
Let's have
this.
a meeting about the meeting, and then we can talk about having another meeting about that meeting. So, what about Ellis and myself?
I adore you both.
Dude, don't see you'd say that with the microphone out in your face and me sit next to you.
I mean, if you turn this off, I would still say that. I'm not going to not give you shit every fucking day of your life, right. But no, I adore you both. You guys are both hilarious. Watching the two of you together is actually really precious. You guys are like, I was going to say brothers, but it's
like an old married
cooler.
At this point.
Yeah, it totally is.
It really is.
And it's a lot of fun. I feel like I've seen both of you separately, like, kind of have my back, and it means a lot to me. And I feel like that with everybody here, to be honest.
Well, it's all lies.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're all great actors.
Well, I like to put on a facade. As soon as I say something nice about you, as soon as you leave, I go,
I know, and then you're like, fuck that bitch.
Retract all of that.
Yeah.
Take it away.
That's literally you in a nutshell. Like,
yeah.
I was nice for 4 seconds, so I'm going to be mean for 20.
Well, now you know me.
I do,
and now
yeah.
you know the history. Now you know what my wife goes through.
God bless her.
Yes. Let's talk about you on camera here at Collider, because I think, and I will say this, and I've said this to you, I think you are a hidden gem.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna say that I think that you should be on Schmoes more. I think that is going to happen. I think that the audience responded to you well in trailer reviews. I think the audience responded to you very well in the Schmoedown, and we'll talk to you about that in a second.
Okay.
But now I know you look at someone like the opposite, well, not the opposite side, but like Katie Sackhoff was a co-host of ours. She was in Battlestar Galactica and Longmire, and then Bonnie Somerville was on our show for a while too. And it was a smooth transition for them acting to just jumping onto the mic and doing
right.
And it seems to be the same. Do you like when you're?
Oh, thank you.
No, what I mean, you don't freeze. It's like you. I think that a successful personality in this business is that the way that I'm talking to you right now transfers right over to when those cameras go on. I think that sometimes when people are a little greener and the cameras go on, they then turn into what they think is supposed to be a host. And what they think
interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with saying, well, what do you, like for the Schmoedown, for example, like what question should I ask and preparing.
Right.
There's nothing about preparation. It's a matter of presentation.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that about you. And do you think do you approach this the same way you approach acting, or is it something completely different?
Well, thank you, first of all, for saying that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at some of like the really, really early behind the scenes episodes, you can tell it took me a while to like warm up to not having a script.
Right.
Because that's, hosting and that kind of thing and just being myself.
Comfort blanket.
Yeah, well, 100%. Because people are like, but you're an actor, you have to be vulnerable. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm vulnerable as this person. It's not the same. So yeah, it definitely, it took a little bit of getting used to. But no, I mean, I think probably it seems so natural because I'm just being me. Like, I'm not trying to be like, I'm just like, okay, like, this is what I thought of the trailer.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just kind of being me.
So
yeah,
it's a little bit of a character, obviously.
That's a little bit, but it's mostly just like doing a stronger flavor of Grace as like mega sassy,
right?
Which is not hard.
No, I know, and that was the thing is because when I thought about it, I was like, Emma has been so great. And by the way, in case you didn't realize this, Grace and Emma you guys are pretty tight.
Oh yeah, we're having a girls' night, like cocktails.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
she's awesome, and Emma has been just a blessing for the Schmoedown, and
yeah, I adore her.
And it was like she's like because in wrestling, there was always something like Mean Gene Okerlund was an interviewer, and he didn't really, you could tell he was a good guy, but he never kind of swayed biasly towards like the good guys or bad guys. But Emma does sway that way, and that's fine. It's different. I like that.
She's like the Marvel, and I'm like the DC.
And, that was the thing is that I just was like, you know what, we need a heel. We need like a sassy interviewer too. And I remember walking by, and I can't remember what you said. You said something with some attitude. It was like, did you do have you any movement with that with the menu book and the look that I got? Like,
I literally know exactly what you're talking about.
But I can tell you that there are other things that I'm working on.
I know. I was like, honey, I'm gonna be real with you. It's at the bottom of my list.
That's exactly what you said. And I was like, you know what? She would be great with the Lanston. And here we are. Did you ever meet the Tom and those guys before that?
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Not like a lot of in-depth conversation, but in passing. They've been. I mean, we do this every Friday. You know
Tom's
what I mean?
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
What do you think of Tom?
I I don't know. I haven't made up my mind on really any of them. So quite frankly, I'm trying to be
after the Finstock persona.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like you didn't like. So when he came into 2012, I mean, he came in like a fucking hurricane. And now that he has kind of gone to this new Dagnino personality with him, I think is very interesting. And I also want to see where you are able to rein him in a bit.
Oh,
I'm curious what you can do. Yeah, I'm curious what you can do because I think he needs that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what's the goal, Grace? What are we trying to do here? Are we trying to get onto the camera more to do some more hosting stuff? Or are we just trying to say, fuck off, Collider, I'm going to go become an actress here for full time. You guys can go suck it. What's the deal?
I mean, I'm excited for and open to any and all opportunities. I did not think that I would be good at nor enjoy hosting in any capacity. I've been very pleasantly surprised that it's been a lot of fun for me.
Right.
And any time that I can be on camera is something I enjoy because that's what I'm here for. That's why I live in California. So yeah, I definitely want to be doing more camera stuff. Like I want to be doing like majority-wise on camera stuff here at Collider. I also want to be pursuing acting outside of it, which I am. You know, I just had a huge guest star audition yesterday on the fucking lot and shit like that.
Can you say what it was for yet or no?
I think so. Yeah, it was for the night shift on NBC.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, that's the new show. My wife and I were just watching the trailer for that. It looks pretty, or the commercial. It was pretty funny.
Oh no, no, I don't. This is a different. This is not a new show. This is like a 1 hour drama.
Which one is that? Which one am I thinking of?
I think I know which one you're thinking of, but it wasn't that one.
Oh,
it's
no,
a drama.
It's about like news or something too. What's the night shift? What is that?
It's like a medical procedural, like 1 hour, which is totally like my wheelhouse. That I can't say. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
But even you know, like even if I booked a big guest star, you know, tomorrow, like if I book this guest star tomorrow, I'll be gone a week and then I'm back. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like the nature of acting. It's like, oh my god, I booked this gigantic role. Blah. Okay, I'll see you next week.
Then you got a break,
and then I'm done. Yeah.
Right.
And
so you can live on that job.
So they just feed into each other. You know, like all this on camera stuff here just feeds into that. Just feeds into that. It's just more outputs for me to be creative and fun and.
Right. Well, so if you could, because. Movie topics. That was the thing I was talking to. I can't remember who it was about you the other day, and we're talking about movie taste. It's funny because you're a big Lord of the Rings fan. You love Lord. Do you have a Lord of the Rings tattoo?
I do not, surprisingly.
Tiffany does.
She does? No.
Yeah, Tiffany's tattoo. Don't ask me.
Oh shit! Okay.
I have no idea.
Watch, I read it and I just know what it says. You'd be so impressed.
Absolutely.
I may. Yeah.
It's something in Elvish, I think, but I don't know what it is exactly. Anyway.
I would love to get a tattoo in Dwarvish.
Yeah,
I think Dwarvish is like very cool.
No,
well, is it very like curly, like cursive? Okay, that's Elvish. Dwarvish is like very angular and cool.
No, it's definitely Elvish. But so, what are your overall like movie tastes? Like, what are some of your like top movies that you? Those are my favorites of all time. You don't give me like top 10, but just like if you.
I'm like, well, get comfortable.
Well, because
you know what?
Yeah, because like someone says to me, I throw in Braveheart, I throw in Empire.
Sure, right. Yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan, big Lord of the Rings fan. I'm really, really attracted to like really dark, angsty, like Fincher. I love me some like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Original or the remake?
I actually prefer the American version.
Oh wow!
But I adore the books. That might be one of my favorite book series of all time. Is the Millennium series by Stieg Larsson. But I love like Back to the Future, my jam. I love me some Edward Scissorhands. Big Tim Burton girl. But I mean, Braveheart, Gladiator, like all that kind of stuff. Those like sweeping kind of epics are all going to be up there too. The Ten Commandments, Charlton Heston.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And so, do you watch a lot of those? Study acting also, or do you? I mean, do you probably just do that normally anyway?
I do that inherently. I don't know what it's like to watch a movie just to enjoy a movie.
Yeah, you can't shut down.
No.
And just watch it. You're always critiquing the performance.
Always critiquing.
My father-in-law's like that too because he taught at USC and.
I didn't know that.
Over 30 years.
That's awesome.
Professor at USC for.
He was a professor at UFC.
Yeah, and that's it was.
The fighters were like, "We want to learn acting."
Yeah, that's exactly right. So he did that for 30 years. Professor Jim Wilson. And
Jim.
But when he watches, same thing. Like he can't watch movies without.
No, but you know what? It doesn't bother me so much, just because it's such a creative. Like, I mean, the whole reason why I love acting so much is it's such. Like, when I watch good acting that resonates with me and I'm moved, I'm like, holy shit, like, this is, like, makes the whole day worth that day.
Right.
So, it doesn't bother. It's not like I'm like, oh, I can't turn off my brain. Like, I love watching films and television to watch the actors.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and I think that one of the other things too, because like, how do you think you'd fare on like movie talk?
I don't know, just simply because I just don't have enough experience to know. I mean, so far everything that you guys have thrown at me, I feel like I've done fine. So totally. I'm like, I mean, I would love to try it. Yeah. I don't see why the hell not.
Like movie talk.
I think it's kind of like a given.
Shows and all those things too, because like you always have to pay attention to how the audience responds to people too, and they responded to you. And that is something.
I know, they're so nice.
That was something that because do you pay attention to comments?
Comments where? Because I do YouTube. Some places. Can I say that one?
Do whatever you want.
Well, no, because a lot of people were telling me to, because apparently I got a very overwhelmingly positive response. Well, no, just when I started showing up on behind the scenes or whatever, like everyone was like, we love Grace, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And they were like, yeah, you got to read the comments, and I was like, well, I don't know, because I'm an actor and I'm an artist, like I think I'm inherently like probably a little sensitive. Yeah, so then but then everybody kept telling me like, no, Grace, you have to read it. Like there's so many comments about you, and I was like, okay, fine. So then I went on. The one fucking time that I go on, it was when Dennis, Ken, and I did a trailer reaction. And granted, I don't know when I'm going to be doing those. It's literally like 5 minutes before, like, hey, Grace, you seen the trailer? And I'm like, no. And they're like, do you want to do it? And I'm like, sure. And that's it. So it's not like I'm prepping or like doing my hair or makeup a particular way.
Right.
So I was wearing like a tank top that was a low-cut tank top I see in retrospect. And and all the comments were like, oh my god, like Grace is gorgeous, oh my god, more Grace. And then I see this one guy was like Grace looks like a big dyke with grandma tits. And I was like, all right then, on that note, I will not be looking at comments
to the internet.
But I do want that person to know that how dare you talk about my grandma's tits that way.
Right.
Because she looks amazing.
Poor grandma. Well, I don't think they were talking about your grandma, I think they were talking about you.
Well, apparently they're grandma tits, though. I mean...
Well, yeah, but it's not your grandma's. Maybe she had some more stuff.
She has great tits.
Did she?
Yeah.
All right, where's she live?
But yeah, so no. If people, like, tweet at me and, like, tag me and stuff, I'll get those. Yeah, I'll look at most of those.
I think people seem to be... And I think that's the reason why. I think people seem to be a little bit better on Twitter.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't really know why. I mean, maybe YouTube is just more impersonal.
Well, yeah, I think
like they think that I'm not going to see it.
It's that, and I think that you can also write, Cat Farts 86 as your fucking YouTube.
Oh, that's thing.
And
I saw you.
Twitter, yeah, you did. Sorry about the grandma tits.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, and I just think that that's kind of what happens with Twitter. It's like a lot of people actually have their actual accounts, and they're actually
it's like their faces on. Yeah.
Trace back to them. I mean, there's certainly the egg accounts, and those are normally where you see the trolls pop up. But even that Twitter seems to kind of cut back on those a lot. But it is part, and I think that that's one of the questions is that as you get into this side of things, because when you're on TV, you don't see comments.
I mean, people will definitely like tweet at me, but there's no like comment section under ABC Network's shows.
Well, seeing it on the other side before jumping on camera to do this stuff, like you hear, like, because women definitely have it so bad on YouTube, for sure. There's no doubt. I mean, whether I'm talking to Clark Wolf or Perry or Alicia Malone, or it's just the what you guys have to go through is bullshit.
Thank you.
But going through that and knowing, just hearing from them, does that make you skeptical about going into this, or are you just, like you said, I'm just not gonna read the fucking things?
Oh yeah, no, I don't give a fuck. And for the most part, like, honestly, it's so overwhelmingly positive. Yeah. Like, I literally am humbled by sometimes people say the nicest things, and I'm like, wow, like they took time out of their day to literally type. Like, it actually means a lot to me. So no, if I also, like, hello, I'm a professional actor in LA. Like, I have dragon thick skin. Like, I don't give two shits. Exactly.
What do you do to...
Unless you bring my grandma into it.
Then we got some beef.
Yeah, then I'll hunt you down with my broadsword.
I'll get my professor father who coaches for the UFC. So, Jim. Do you... because we know that you're very focused on acting, and men right now can go fuck themselves, apparently. I'm kidding. But where do you go to kick back? What do you do to kick back?
Well,
you read a book, you get drunk, what do you do?
I get drunk and then I read books. No, I'm kind of a homebody.
With that word, hell.
Oh, like, this is my 14th time reading the Fellowship.
Same page.
It's a great scene.
Yeah.
No, I mean, my schedule is so jam-packed. Like, people make fun of me because I have to, like, pencil people in, like, 3 weeks in advance. But it's a genuine thing. Like, I really do have to do that. So, no, when I do have a free, maybe evening, I really do just love to stay home and, like, catch up on, like, Veep and read. I'm a big reader. I went to the library today at lunch. Like, that's how much of a nerd I am.
Then how are you meeting these dudes? Is it websites?
No, God, no. I'm not on any websites or apps.
So how do you do that then? Is it through classes?
I mean, it's just like mutual friends. Yeah, like a lot of people from my class, like all the classes, because I'm taking.
Date actors. Dating actors.
I have gone on dates with actors.
Okay, so
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because I hate being like, I'll never date an actor. But I also like, I'm so curious about the rest of the world. Right. Like, I kind of, and I've said this before in interviews, I dated an aerospace engineer for 4 years. Right. And I loved that about him because I was like, this is my world, that's your world, I know nothing about that world, and I love that about you, and I want to hear all about it. Like, which I like that. Like, I want to learn things that I don't know about.
Sure. And I think that, but it's also like you said, it's just you wake up and say, and I think that was more because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, whether or not he was going to move forward or not, right? Mm-hmm. And how long were you with that guy? He's not one of the
No. He was one of the vanilla ones.
He was one of the vanilla ones. So
like if on paper, he wasn't vanilla. Right. But we were together like 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're hardcore relationship. You're not casual.
I'm not and that's the thing that's also a challenge, is because it's like I said, like I don't like I'm not like I like you. I'm like I love you.
I just had Gary Busey want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Oh, Grace, have you ever had a one-night stand with a man named Patrice?
I have never had a one-night stand, and I have certainly never had sex with anybody named Patrice.
What if Patrice had a bagel on his ear and talked to his puppy named Franklin?
Oh, well, in that case, yeah, give that guy my number.
Good job, Gary.
Thank you, Gary. Good to see you, Gary.
I've never had a one-night
stand. Gross.
Why is it? See, this gets into another thing, by the way, that you don't know about Grace, is that she is a germaphobe.
I'm a big germaphobe. Right. No, I mean, I'm not. You know, it's a selfish thing. I'm like, you haven't earned this.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's not about like me getting mine. I'm like, ew.
So you're okay with that then? If you go, like, so if because there's nothing wrong also about you go out one night, you have a couple drinks, and what if you get sassed up and you want to have some fun? You just think I can do it some other way, or you're just not.
That's not attractive to me, because I'm like, and this is another thing that's hard for me with dating. Is that like I have to really, really like. Oh my God, this is gonna sound so lame, but I really have to like fall in love with your brain and your personality and your sense of humor and your taste and how you handle situations. Like, it's really hard for me to not fall in love with my best friends because I can't love you if I just think you're hot. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not attracted to physicalities. I'm attracted to intellects. So no, I could never, like, sexually, I don't think I could literally ever. I mean, I could, but like I would rather have good sex with somebody I love than have like, I hope this is cool because you're hot and I'm drunk.
It happens one time and then it's just like you feel kind of gross afterwards.
I'm sure you do. How many Patrices have you hung out with?
This is not my interview.
That's a yes.
No, I mean I've talked about it on Schmoes many times. 10 years ago, when I was doing stand-up, there was a couple Patrices for sure. Patrices.
I mean, I'm not, like, no judgment whatsoever. It's just not my personality.
No, I totally understand. I think that there are definitely people that, like you said, and I think that with dudes it's different than sometimes.
Absolutely.
Not judgment on women who
not at all
who do, but it's just like sometimes it's like it's a matter of, like you said, it's like I want a little bit more than that. And I think that what I respect about the answer was the fact that it's just like, no, you gotta earn it.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally like a
right.
Son.
So when you say casual and you're dating, it's just like, let's hang out for a little bit. We're cool.
I mean, I guess I mean that we're talking, we're flirting, we're hanging out, we're handsy.
Right.
You know, not like dirty handsy, but you know, like physically, like, you know.
Right, flirty. Like
flirty. Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Getting to know each other, asking deep questions, having interesting conversations, like sharing our favorite books and films.
All right. So see, the good news is that all of these that you've just given. Tom and Nino's going to listen to this, and you don't have to worry about it. You lost him at I need to know your brain. Anyway, this is great getting to know you a little bit more here.
Thank you.
And I think that you're a very interesting person, as I said. And you're and I'm only saying this because the microphone is on. You're very funny.
Well, thank you. I know the second this turns off, you're going to be like, fuck you, Grace, get out of here.
Get the menu booked on. But
and I'm going to give you the bird and go make a copy.
As you should. But I think that the Schmoville audience, I think that the Collider audience should look out, because I think Grace Hancock is here, and I think that we're going to learn a lot more about you, and I am looking forward to seeing what you're going to do on Schmoes, because Schmoes, because you're also, and I think that you don't lie about this, which is also, you're not as caught up. Have you ever heard of like Collider and Schmoes before you started working here?
Hell no.
No, okay. And how much have you watched of this stuff while you've been working here?
Like of our shows that we make?
Shows, yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm not caught up, but I've definitely watched at least, like a minimum of, I've watched several episodes of all the shows, for sure.
Yeah, because I think that's now that you're doing these, like, because I would love for you, I would want to see you, like I said, on Schmoes, to where and this is the one thing about Grace that I've noticed also. I said, okay, I'm going to send you an episode of this, or this. Next day, she's like, oh, I watched all of it.
Yeah.
I checked out all of it. I did the research on it, because I think that I've sent you a few different episodes, but the Schmoes stuff, please take a look at some of those episodes, because I think that you will fit in there pretty well.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I enjoy watching it. I watched several.
What else would you like to talk about?
I don't know.
You have things you want to talk about.
I don't know. Are you trying to like prod me to like admit something?
Admit what? Well,
I'm like,
what do you need to admit? What did you steal from my office?
I was gonna try and hack into your Twitter when you were coming in, but then you walked in.
Yeah, see, we do that. That's an ongoing joke.
That's an ongoing, yeah.
I started that.
You did start that.
Yeah.
Because you were like, oh, can I just see? And of course, me being nice, me was like, oh yeah, sure. What do you need? And then you were like, like trolling. Yeah.
I think that we have that kind of brother-sister relationship.
Yeah, for sure. We give each other a lot of shit.
We
give each other a lot of shit.
Yeah, no, I want to know if there's anything. What's coming up? I want to know what you're going to be. I think that is the exciting prospect of what the hell you're going to do next. I think
right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
It's very exciting.
It is. So you're going to cause some shit?
Oh, for sure.
All right. So Grace Hancock is going to cause some shit. We can find you at Ms. Graceface or Mrs. Graceface?
On Twitter at Mrs. Graceface. On Instagram at Mrs._Graceface.
This wasn't so bad.
It wasn't so bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. But
no.
We are going to get you to play the personal questions game when we bring it back to the Schmo Show. Are you down to play that?
Absolutely.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
See, but that's...
Did I plead the fifth?
You didn't plead the fifth, but you should probably watch the episode before you say yes.
Can I plead the fifth on one of those?
No, you can't on that one.
I have to answer, but I could lie and you wouldn't know. I wouldn't do that, though.
But I think with the personal question game, what you have to do with the rules is that you can say no to one question.
Okay, so I get like one like.
Yeah, and the questions get pretty nuts. So
excellent.
See, and this is why we want to see more of Grace. So, guys, thank you. It was fun to be back doing this show for a little bit. I don't know. You'll probably get another one in, I'd say, about 2 years. So, until then...
Right on schedule.
Right on schedule. Check your feet. Wash your hair. And we'll see you next time.